Let's go Jira Prime here with a little video, and today I just want to go over a little news in regard to TF Nation and their upcoming TFN Manchester event. But first, as always, I do have a Facebook page, Jira Prime, where I do post images of the figures in my collection, links to any videos I do, and anything else I do find of interest. So if you do have the time, do please find the page, hit like, hit subscribe, and do feel free to comment on anything that I do post. So, as most people who are Transformers fans in the UK are probably aware, TF Nation has its first big event occurring in Manchester of 2026 at the Pendulum Hotel. What was previously known as the TF Nation Minicon has now been rebranded TF Nation Manchester, and they've put out their first big news bulletin about the event. So, the event's still going to be held at the Pendulum Hotel. I'm not going to read out the article word for word. You can do that yourself in your own time. But essentially, it's going to be held at the Pendulum Hotel again. This was the same venue they used last year. It's about 10-15 minutes walk from the Piccadilly train station, so it's very easy to reach. And if you're not too sure where you're going, it's easy to find when using like Google Maps or something like that. The main reason they're using this hotel again is because everyone who went last year seemed to think it was a really good hotel, very easily accessible, lots of room space. We had 2 different rooms for dealers. We had a room for actual dealers and a forge area, and then we had this panel room, which you can see in this picture, which was kind of like a university conference room with the tables and chairs in it. But it was, because of how the room was laid out, because everyone was on a slightly elevated position, everyone could see the stage and could hear everything really quite well. So they're back at the Pendulum Hotel again. There are a few changes from last year's event. First off, they are freezing prices from last year. So an adult ticket, like for myself, will cost £40. If you are 16 to 17, £25, and 0 to 15, you get in for free as long as you are with a qualifying adult. The big change that they are making this year as well is there is a new Friday evening ticket option. Now, this is not going to be a massive thing that they're going to be doing. Basically, what they're saying here, this will be a non-trading event in our panel room, which will take place while the crew is busy setting up the halls for the following day. They state the event will run from approximately 7 p.m. onwards to give overnight attendees, so that's people who are getting there on the Friday, depending on where you're coming from, and locals arriving from work, time to go in safely. You can expect entertainment such as panels, quizzes, and a special movie night with fellow fans too. So they are putting on a little bit of a show, panels, quizzes, a film presentation. I only live an hour away from Manchester, so I won't be doing this myself. But they are selling tickets for this. It's £15 for adults 18 plus, young adults 16 to 17 are £10, and children under the age of 15 and under getting for free with a qualifying adult ticket. This kind of begs the question for me. I mean, does this kind of mean that if this event gets bigger and bigger and bigger, we're going to end up with 2 TF Nations basically happening? One at the beginning of the year in Manchester, and one end of the year, the main event down in Birmingham. I mean, if they if this event gets big to the point where it was like what TF Nation and Auto Assembly were, say, 10 years ago, and it seems to be going that way, do we get 2 TF Nations a year, 2 big events a year, and then the mini, if the Reading event keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and by the sounds of it, from what I've read and seen online, the Reading event was very, very popular again this year. Are we going to end up with multiple big conventions happening throughout the year? I think that would be it'd be an interesting thing if it happened, but I think it would be a nightmare for the TF Nation crew having to organise all these big events. But still, it's an interesting thing to think about, is how big are these events going to get going forward? it does beg the question. It is, I mean, the price for a ticket for the day, £40. I've got no qualms about that. It's great that they're freezing the ticket prices for another year. That's always a big help with everybody. And if you're looking to make a long weekend out of this by getting to Manchester on a Friday, meeting up with friends, having a few drinks on a Friday night, going to this Friday night event, then you're there at the convention for the day. Saturday night, you're hitting the drinks and pubs again, going back on a Sunday. Great, there's something more for you to do. For me, I'll just be doing the one-day event thing, which is the £40 option, getting there reasonably early in the morning because I have a good car park I use on the other side of town, and then I walk the rest of the way. So, I'm looking forward to TFN Manchester, as it's now being called. It's kind of like the beginning of my toy hunting year, this thing. But yeah, the hotel's good. It's in a good, easy, accessible location. Ticket prices, I think, are fairly well priced. But again, I am curious, how big is this event going to get? We've only been doing TFN Manchester, or TFN Minicon as it was, for 3 years now, 4 years in 2026. It's clearly going to get bigger, I think. And the question has to be asked, how big is TFN going to let it get? But hey, let me know in the comments section. Are you going to TFN Manchester this year? Are you going to the main event in August? Or July, actually, because it actually starts on July 31st. Have you been to Reading? Are you going to Reading next year? Do let me know in the comments section. And thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video.